If it seems like TCU just moved into renovated Amon G Stadium, that's because they sort of have after the new place was opened back in 2012. After a 6-year pause, however, the Horned Frogs are putting the shovels back in the dirt to complete the next phase of upgrading their longtime home by announcing a $100 million expansion that will see an entire new deck built with loads of luxury boxes. This is more than just a football project. This facility will be used to the benefit of all 21 of our sports, our campus community in Fort Worth, Athletics Director Jeremiah Donati said in a release. It's an appropriate expansion, with all the cutting-edge technology, to what is already the finest football stadium in the country. Our fans will enjoy an unrivaled game day experience. A look at TCU's $100 million expansion of Amon G. Stadium, 2 new levels of luxury seating above the current upper deck on the east side of the stadium. pic.twitter.com/v2k4jt, Brian Fisher, @Brian Fisher, June 7, 2018. Per the school, the Amon G. Stadium expansion project calls for 2 new levels of luxury seating above the current upper deck on the east side of the stadium. The new Legends Club and Suites will include 48 loge boxes with 2 private clubs, over 1,000 club seats and 22 luxury suites. There will also be a 100-foot outdoor balcony overlooking Frog Alley, the TCU campus and downtown Fort Worth, as well as vast additional premium space that can be used for outside events on game days. Additionally, a new video board will be installed in the north end zone. Completion is expected to be complete before the 2019 season gets underway and, as you could expect, the bulk of the work will be done when the Horned Frogs are not playing football games there this year. The expansion is mostly centered on all those luxury boxes, as the stadium capacity will increase by just a few thousand people to 47,000 when the project is complete. Say what you want about Jimbo Fisher going to Texas A. Not long after it surfaced that the school had added former LSU general manager Austin Thomas to the staff in a player personnel role, it seems the Aggies signed up another person with experience in the league by naming former Alabama staffer Leah Knight as the program's new director of recruiting. Knight graduated from Alabama and spent most of the past season as the Crimson Tide's director of football recruiting before leaving the position in March. Seems the pull of SEC football is just too strong, however, and she wound up linking back up with a Nick Saban disciple in Fisher to help with his efforts to recruit the Lone Star State. Prior to her short stint in Tuscaloosa, Knight also held similar recruiting-focused positions on Mike Bobo's staff at Colorado State and under Willie Taggart's staff at USF. Based on all these off-the-field moves though, it seems Fisher is quickly turning the Aggies' motto of "Gig 'em" into "Hire 'em" based on how quickly he's adding support staffers in College Station. We're not sure that was the original aim of Saban's famed process, but Josh Belk is crossing enemy lines in the Palmetto State and moving from Clemson to South Carolina, trading orange and regalia for garnet and black in a way fans from the area probably can't conceive. The former 4-star coming out of high school was ranked by 247 Sports as the second-best player in the state as part of the class of 2018 and enrolled early with the Tigers, going through an entire spring practice in the program before deciding to transfer in May without even playing a snap for Dabo Swinney. The Gamecocks were a big factor in Belk's initial recruitment, and appeared to land him on the second try when he made things official on Twitter Friday night. His high school coach told The State when he initially announced a transfer that a family matter was at the heart of his decision to change schools, and while Clemson is certainly a good in-state option, Columbia is about half the distance from where Belk grew up. Another SEC program, Georgia, also received a visit from Belk, but it seems the home state poll was just too big to pass up. Clemson's depth along the defensive line has taken a bit of a hit the past few months even before this decision, but it's not like the Tigers aren't well set there with 4 returning All-Americans and a new crop of 5 stars set to take over behind them. On the flip side, Belk will be able to have an easier route to playing time with the Gamecocks when he eventually becomes eligible, as well as add a bit of drama for whenever he steps onto the field against his former school in the Palmetto Bowl. Quarterbacks have dominated the conversation when it comes to the Heisman Trophy, but 2018 could be a little different when it comes to the nation's most outstanding player, thanks to several running backs elbowing their way to the front of the line. According to ESPN, the Westgate Superbook in Las Vegas just posted their first set of odds for the Heisman this season and have installed Stanford tailback Bryce Love as the betting favorite for the award at 5-to-1 odds. Following closely on his heels is Wisconsin sophomore back Jonathan Taylor at 7-to-1 odds. Love followed in the big shoes left behind on the farm by Christian McCaffrey and was sensational last season, rushing for 2,118 yards, second in FBS, and won the Doak Walker Award as the best running back in the country. Similar to his fellow Stanford teammates, though, he finished as the runner-up for the Heisman to eventual winner Baker Mayfield, the fifth time a Cardinal player finished second in the voting since Toby Gerhart narrowly missed out on the trophy in 2009. While being the favorite by no means guarantees a great season, it does give Love a little extra, love to kick off his 2018 campaign to shed the groomsman label and finally become a groom himself when it comes to the award. As for Taylor, he had a terrific debut campaign for the Badgers with 1,977 yards as a true freshman and led his team to an undefeated regular season record, a division title and an Orange Bowl victory. After his spot on the board, however, it's all the glamour position of quarterbacks according to the Westgate, which lists Alabama's signal caller Tua Tagovailoa at 10-to-1, followed by Georgia's Jake Fromm, Oregon's Justin Herbert and Arizona's Khalil Tate all at 14-to-1. There's not been too much movement in the odds following the conclusion of the 2017 season, as Bovada listed Love and Taylor as their two biggest favorites back in January. The full, updated, odds from the Westgate are below: Love 5-to-1, Taylor 7-to-1, Tagovailoa 10-to-1, Fromm, Herbert, Tate 14-to-1, Washington quarterback Jake Browning, Ohio State running back J.K. Dobbins, Georgia running back DeAndre Swift, Auburn quarterback Jarrett Stidham, Clemson quarterback Kelly Bryant, Oklahoma quarterback Kyler Murray, Michigan quarterback Shea Patterson, Penn State quarterback Trace McSorley and West Virginia quarterback Will Grier, 20-to-1. Joe Moorhead hasn't even coached a game in the SEC yet, but he's already sending subtle shots to other coaches in the league who might be trying to paint him in a negative light. In a long interview with USA Today about adjusting to life at Mississippi State after decades spent as an assistant and head coach in the Northeast, Moorhead pretty firmly pushed back at a few theories of how to recruit in the area and why he could conceivably be at a disadvantage with all his experience coming north of the Mason-Dixon line. "I truly believe the regional aspect of recruiting and coaching couldn't be more overblown," he said. "If you can recruit, you can recruit. If you can coach, you can coach. Nick Saban and Urban Meyer aren't Southern," he finishes, "and they did okay in the SEC. Where you're born doesn't guarantee success," he tells them, "but it doesn't eliminate it." The comments can be seen as a fairly direct response to South Carolina's Will Muschamp, an SEC veteran at several schools, who told the state at league meetings that recruiting in the conference is different from anywhere else and presents some difficulty for outsiders to pick up on and manage. "As much as anything, what's different in our league is the recruiting element," Muschamp said. "It's 24/7, 365 and you have to be involved or it will get away from you. That's what a lot of coaches who come in our league don't always understand, is that side of it." Moorhead definitely has a good point about two of the most dominant coaches in recent SEC history being from elsewhere and still cleaning up on the recruiting trail. In the end, their tenacity at going after top prospects is what separates the Sabans and Meyers of the world from the pack, much more so than where they're from or what kind of accent they might have, certainly the more relatable traits to take away for somebody new to the area. Muschamp's original comments came as he was asked about new Tennessee head coach Jeremy Pruitt, who also has a lengthy resume filled with SEC experience. While we may not be able to test this insider-outsider theory completely using Moorhead and Pruitt as examples, the two newbies do serve as a nice dichotomy as to how to approach the job of running one of the league's 14 programs. Perhaps the biggest shame, however, is that the Bulldogs and Gamecocks don't meet again in the regular season until 2023, so we won't get the head-to-head clash between Muschamp and Moorhead to prove who's right on the subject between the lines.